So it's been a while since we last sat down and had a good chat about skincare, and it's definitely one of my favourite subjects to talk about, so I thought what better time than right now to just go through some of my new additions, some of the things that I've been using more regularly at the moment, and kind of just an update of my routine. So first of all, I have a couple of cleansing products to talk about, and the first one is the Clarins Water Comfort One Step Cleanser, and I am not ashamed to say I bought this because of Susie. She's a big fan of it, so I thought I would probably be into it too, and I have to say this is probably one of the best smelling skincare products I've ever come across. It smells like peaches and fruit, and it's just so beautiful. But smells and first impressions aside, I have been using this quite regularly. I've used up probably about a quarter of the bottle, and I've been using it as a cleanser in the morning. So I've kind of been trying out this new thing where I don't cleanse my skin with water in the morning, which some of you I'm sure are probably recoiling in horror away from your screen at hearing. But I've seen quite a few people recently just skipping the morning cleansing step altogether, and that they've noticed a difference in their skin, and it's a lot better, and that their makeup goes on nicer. So I thought I would give it a go and try it out, and I thought this would be the perfect product to use in place of a normal cleanser. I don't think I could just wake up and go straight onto my makeup. I have to kind of take some of the grease and the oil and the dirt that my skin accumulates overnight off, and I think this is the perfect thing for it. It's just a very watery, very lightweight cleanser. It doesn't strip my skin at all. It's not really a very abrasive toning product, but it definitely leaves it feeling refreshed, which is a very nice feeling to have in the mornings. As far as skipping a morning cleanse goes, I can't say I'm a massive fan of it. I haven't really noticed any difference in my skin. If anything, I probably have a few more blemishes than usual, so I'm probably going to put a stop to that, but I think this will still be a nice thing to use after a cleanser, so kind of as a toning product, but something that really refreshes and brightens up your skin. Double cleansing is something that I do try and do as often as possible, or as often as I remember. I think it's nice to not only cleanse away your makeup, but also cleanse your skin too, so that's where the second cleanse comes into play. And I don't really like to use a thick balm cleanser as my second cleanse, which is what I used for my first cleanse. I like to use something a bit lighter, so the Sunday Riley Ceramic Slip is something that I've been using quite a lot for that step. So this actually foams up very slightly, which at first really put me off of it because I am not a fan of foaming cleansers at all, but it doesn't contain SLS, which is the thing that you really want to avoid in terms of foaming cleansers, even shampoos, shower gels, anything really that you're putting on your body. Sodium lauryl sulfate is not really something you want to have in it. So because of that, it's not drying at all. It doesn't strip my skin. There's no kind of tight, overly cleansed feeling once I've used this, and I think it just makes for a really nice second step after you've done the bulk of your cleansing and taken off makeup. It just keeps your skin nice and refreshed and feeling really light. I've been trying out a relatively new eye makeup remover. This is from Nivea. It's their Daily Essentials Double Effect Eye Makeup Remover, and I picked this up because it's a biphase eye makeup remover, so it has an oily base to it, which really helps at getting rid of any waterproof eye makeup, waterproof mascara, things like that. I thought this would be quite similar to the Clarins Instant Eye Makeup Remover, which is a firm favourite of mine, and it does a pretty good job. It's not quite as good as that. It doesn't really take off waterproof mascara too well, but that really isn't something that I wear all too regularly, so it does the job at just taking off my normal eye makeup. It also doesn't sting. It's quite gentle on my eyes, and I do have a problem sometimes with eye products stinging because I have quite sensitive skin around there, so it does a really good job. I'm quite impressed with this considering it's quite a budget option. If I did have to choose, I'd probably go back to the Clarins one, but I think for now this is going to be fine for me. This next product is a bit of a throwback because this is probably one of the first things I ever tried when I really started getting into skincare, and this is the Earle Instant Boost Skin Tonic. Just the packaging and the actual smell of this remind me of being, I think, probably 15 is when I first used this, so it's definitely a bit nostalgic. But this has been such a lifesaver for me at the moment because I've been keeping it in the fridge, and it's actually the spray version. It smells so good. It's been so hot at the moment that I've actually been struggling to coat. Makeup has not been staying on my face at all, but a few sprays of this just really refreshes my skin and cools me down instantly. I've been spraying this pretty liberally, pretty much all over my entire body just to cool down, and it really feels lovely and refreshing and cooling. As far as the skincare benefits go, it definitely is a pretty good toner. It does help to reduce the size of my pores. I've noticed that before in the past, and it really does get my skin ready for moisturiser. I find that my moisturiser sinks in a lot better when I have this on, so it's one of my favourites, and I'm happy that I have it back in my life. I've been testing out a few products from Origins, and of all the things that I've been using, this is probably the one that stood out to me as being really good. This is the Original Skin Renewal Serum with Willow Herb, and this is supposed to be a kind of all-in-one serum. It helps with lines, it helps with dullness in your skin, helps with redness, just erases anything really that shouldn't be there. I've been using this as my morning and my evening serum for the last couple of weeks, and I really have noticed that that my skin not only looks a lot brighter, but it feels a lot smoother. I've had a lot of dry patches on my face recently. I think it's just the sun and the weather drying it out, but especially around kind of my mouth, which is a strange place to have dry patches, and also on my forehead. But since using this, they've disappeared pretty much altogether, and my skin just feels so much more plumped and healthy and hydrated. I think a serum is something that you either see instant benefits from or something that it takes a long time to really make a difference, but I'm happy with how this is working for me in my routine, and I will continue to use it because I do really like it, but I'm interested to see how much more of a difference it can possibly make to my skin. But for now, I am happy with the evened out tone and the smoother texture that it's given me, so this I've really been enjoying using. Now, SPF is something that I have been making sure I'm wearing on a daily basis, not only on my face but also all over my body, and because of that I've been going through SPF quite quickly. So this is a new one I've been trying. This is from Vichy. It's the Ideal Soleil SPF 50, and I've been making sure to use an SPF 50 because it's been so bright and so sunny, and I really just like to make sure my skin has the most protection it can possibly get. Now, I've definitely tried my fair share of SPFs in the past. I've gone through a lot of them, and this, I have to say, isn't my absolute favourite. It's definitely quite a heavy texture, and I think because of that it'd be brilliant for drier skins. Definitely not for those who have oily skin, unfortunately, but it definitely has a very velvety, creamy texture. It's not very shiny or greasy. It's definitely hydrating, but it does have this slight matte finish to it, which I think is great. Saying that, my makeup doesn't tend to last quite as long as when I have this on because it is so rich, but on days when I'm not wearing makeup, I think it's really important to give my skin as much moisture as it can possibly get, especially if I'm going outside and I'm going to be in the sun. So this I would really recommend to those looking for a really rich, hydrating SPF, but it's not my favourite of all the ones I've tried in the past. Okay, so the final skincare product that I've been testing out is a little bit of a special one. This is from Chantecaille, and it's their Detox Clay Mask with rosemary and honey. This is probably one of the most expensive masks I've ever tried, and some people may think it's not really worth investing that much into skincare, but personally, having used this now, I think it is actually worth it. First of all, a little bit of this really does go a long way. I've probably used this about 10 or 12 times, and you can see I've barely made a dent in it. So it's one of those products that's really going to hang around on your bathroom shelf for a really long time, and something that you're probably going to be pulling out just for a special occasion. So I've been using this when I know I want my skin to look really good the next day, especially when I'm filming videos that are quite up close to me, so makeup tutorials. It is a clay-based mask, so I find it really helps to tighten up my pores, especially on my nose. I have not so much enlarged pores, but just pores that are slightly clogged, and it just pulls everything out of them and makes my skin look really smooth. It also has rosemary oil and honey in this, which are really great anti-inflammatory ingredients, so if your skin's feeling a little bit sore or it just feels like it needs a bit of a drink, this is great to use for that as well. I think people sometimes associate clay masks with really stripping and really drawing out everything from the skin and just leaving it quite dry, but I think this is actually great if you feel like your skin is dry. It gives it a bit of a drink, it just leaves it feeling a bit more hydrated and also really cleansed and deeply purified. So I think it's a great all-rounder. It really does everything you want it to. It'll definitely be a sad day when I run out of this and have to contemplate repurchasing it, but I think I probably would do because for what it's done to my skin so far from using it, I'm really impressed. So that is a little roundup for you of all the new skincare bits that I've been incorporating into my routine recently. Some are definitely going to be new favourites and some I'm still a little bit unsure on, but I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if you've tried any of those yourself, if any of them are your favourites or how you've been using them in your routine. I would love to know, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all soon. Bye!